Once we were given the brief, we decided to research into both genre thriller and horror, as we were not sure which to focus on. We established there a real cross-reference into conventions of these genres, which influenced the planning of our own product.
Some of the conventions we use and follow are the use of obscure camera angles in order to disorientate the audience. An example from our trailer is the locks on the doors. These high and low angle cutaways effectively construct the view, and this is cued up by the POV of Holly looking through the peephole in the door.
Keeping with the cinematography, we developed upon the use of CU shots. You can see from our storyboard, our trailer is dominated by these CU and MCU shots to keep the frame closed, ensuring confusion and suggesting a dreamlike effect, and enables the viewers to examine facial expressions when they are in shot. This is always the case for real-life products, which also use establishing shots, letting the audience observe the surroundings. A specific example of this is shown in World War Z, which uses the establishing shot and smash cuts into a pan, showing the audience the scenery and busy streets of America.
However, we decided to challenge this because we wanted to keep our narrative relating to the theme of our dreams, making it confusing, thus jumping from one thing to another which isn't clarified. We had to produce a film package. We concluded, after researching posters and websites, that they have a house style and is clear on demonstrating the genre. We used this convention in our ancillary tasks with a CU photo of our main characters. We felt this was fitting and established that actually this is commonly used for the target audience, enabling them to easily identify the protagonist or antagonist, in our case, a bit of both.
After the focus blurring at the beginning of our trailer suggesting a dreamlike atmosphere, we have a POV of the antagonist running, which is an enigma code. The audience at the point will try to decipher if this is the antagonist or protagonist of the film. This convention was used at the start of Black Swan. We are unclear of the identity of the woman, being a mystery to us. Confusion between the characters is a common convention of both horror and thriller genres. We thought it would be very fitting for our psychological thriller we have produced.
Other conventions we used was the presence of dark lighting for an eerie feel. The audience are immediately able to examine the text and conclude the thriller genre from this. The atmosphere was also reinforced by the mise-en-scène we have used, alleyways and abandoned houses. The presence of the sound files lifted into the passage.
From looking at real media text such as 13 Sins, I concluded there was no point at which non-diegetic sound didn't feature throughout the trailer. Therefore, we developed upon this convention, and so there is always sound present in our trailer, which has the effect of making the viewer comprehend the meaning from this in conjunction with the moving image, in order to collaboratively gain our intention from each take. Even at low points for tension, we have sound effects, white noise, which we obtained from freesound.com, and slow mysterious sound files acquired via Kevin McClone, who makes files on royalty-free sound website that was inserted to slow the pace to then reach a crescendo.
We wanted to take the viewers on a journey that experienced highs and lows. Tension is built and then a climax is reached in the fight scene, but the pace is slowed before the end title. This feature is seen in World War Z with the slowing of the trailer, when in the aeroplane, or again reaching a high at the presence of the feature title.
Initially, we were not going to keep any diegetic sound in, however, after filming the screeching of the tyres, it seemed to work well, and actually we made the decision to keep it in, effectively making it more realistic.
I have to turn away because my eyes are well sensitive, even the tiniest bit of dust will destroy them.
Okay, ready when he is? Yeah,
go! Oh.
Okay, that's good.
That's not so bad.
A convention we tried to challenge was Tolerous Rising Action. The narrative is in 3 parts, beginning with equilibrium, and then we observe a moment of disequilibrium, and finally we usually finish in a new equilibrium with a sense of a new resolution for the characters. In our product we jump straight into disequilibrium, which is shown in our treatment and the plot of the film. A dream world is what we delve into, and we never know if a new equilibrium is achieved.
In all the trailers we studied, there was no clear resolution, or if there even was a resolution. In most trailers, the narrative is often clear-cut, as shown in Nightmare on Elm Street, a typical horror film following the guidelines of equilibrium, disequilibrium, and resolution. However, you will notice that our narrative may appear jumpy and disorientated. This was our intention because we wanted to achieve a dreamlike situation. Visually, we see symbols that reflect a meaning, but immediately these are unknown.
We could, however, improve this and develop further, maybe making the narrative slightly clearer, as we realise audiences may not go and see a film that they are uncertain of what it involves. Although saying that, this could have the totally opposite effect and actually intrigue audiences, increasing consumption, but we will never know.
We also challenged the use of dialogue. You may notice in real media text they involved a hefty amount of character dialogue. In one of our real media text mirrors, we have multiple conversations with a range of characters. It's the dialogue that drives and directs the plot of the film.
We decided to keep this to a minimum for two reasons. The first is often amateur actors weaken the passage because they are not strong enough in acting. The second is that actions speak louder than words. Film is a visual medium and therefore has to be able to tell a story without the use of many words. The non-diegetic sound is put in place to guide the audience of what they should be feeling, which we feel we have achieved in our trailer.
The brief decided we needed to create a film package, which we then made the decision to produce the trailer in combination with the website and poster. You can see we have an established house style throughout all three mediums. The genre is clearly demonstrated with the use of dark colours and harsh lighting and eerie sound files, enabling the demographic to establish a psychological thriller with some elements of horror. Once completing our trailer, we made a group decision to create a poster that clearly displays our main characters and demonstrates the theme of dreams. This was the basis to produce a CU shot of both characters that include the antagonist whom is present in the dreams and the dual personality to Tyler to be peering through the cracks in the face. Researching in real media text, we reflect on the genre and decided to keep the genre conventions, harsh lighting and effect shadows and highlighting.
After researching and annotating a real film poster, the purpose of the poster became clear to us, being used to advertise the film through the title, image and the tagline. By using these elements in our poster, hopefully increasing consumption of the film and connects with our other products. With titles on both mediums, the webpage and film, along with our adapted image of our main characters supporting our tagline, Dare to Dream, suggests one of our characters is the antagonist, whom is a demon within the other, effectively hinting the narrative across to our target audience.
Although the film poster may appear simple, we believe it is effective because it attracts the audience and is associated with the film, trailer and website. This is mostly done through the image of the two main characters in the middle of the poster, which stands out being the central image catching the eye of the audience. This therefore provides synergy as the different media platforms are used to support each other effectively, increasing marketing of, and in our case, the film trailer, which in turn hopefully aids consumption. We found a similar poster product, Twin Peaks cover, that gave us influence of how the cracked face would look, and with the use of how-to tutorials and YouTube, we constructed the final outcome. We kept the image the same for the webpage, so it is easily identifiable as belonging to the whole package for the subliminal film, however made a few adjustments for the landscape layout and the presence of the buttons on the pages.
The webpage included links to other pages that gave more information for the viewers. For example, a gallery page, cast, and story page, where we have a small synopsis of the film and the trailer to tease the audience to view the full feature. The house style to identify a thriller is present throughout the website. We manipulated the social links to be grey, complementing our film title for continuity. The edges are also choppy. This effect is projected on gallery page images and cast pictures to generate a thrill to excite the audience. We think that the webpage displays effectiveness as it incorporates all three products
The trailer and the poster image is in the website. We have also got some extra information such as the reviews, cast and gallery page. This will hopefully also succeed in its aim to entice our target demographic.
In our research, we constructed a questionnaire. This included a fair few closed questions given to our target audience of 15 to 25-year-olds, which enabled us to gather quantitative research to conclude findings from. We then acted upon these findings. We found 45% of those we asked preferred a psychological thriller and horror. The majority also preferred male protagonists and antagonists. Taking this into consideration, we listened to our target audience and acted upon this to produce a psychological thriller with horror elements, which we believed would excite our audience.
Once we finalised both our trailer and ancillary products, we carried out qualitative research on a few of our target audience to discover what they thought of our production, because to evaluate we needed to know if we had constructed something that suited our target audience. The aim of the qualitative research was to know if all the constructed products suited our demographic. We identified our sample. This was to go with our target audience aging from 15 to 25-year-olds.
The focus group is planned to take place during sixth form at 12:10. We felt this was a suitable place to film, as the majority of our target audience are young, and so a sixth form full of 16 to 20-year-olds is the best place for this. Although we understand that maybe it is limited of how representative of the whole target demographic, but a focus group of about 5-ish people are never going to be fully representative of 15 to 25-year-olds in the ABC1 category, and will commonly be gender biased, which can't always be helped as this is too time consuming to decipher.
In order to do this focus group, we are planning to have recording facilities such as cameras and a tripod to balance the camera.
We strongly believe audience feedback is significant in the process after construction, as the audience brings in revenue and makes work credible. It determines whether a film is highly consumed or quite frankly dismissed. The more people who enjoy the film, the more it spreads. It is also very important for the editor, director and producer, as their aim is to please the audience. One of the reasons, if not the sole purpose of film, is to entertain an audience. For this reason, it is very important to get audience feedback.
After finding out what our focus group has said about our products, we collated our findings.
I think it's typical, but it's very unique. I've never seen anything like it before.
The soundtrack symbolises a thriller. It does.
It sounds like it's from
And you know what? The colours as well. You've done a really good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
An immediate weakness we discovered is a spelling issue of demon, but this was quickly eradicated to read correctly, improving this as to an audience this is idiotic.
We found that our focus group concurred with our theory of the film being rated 15.
What rated do you think it would be?
I think 15 plus.
15.
Yeah.
The combination of our products worked well. We had some weaknesses of the issue. White font on black background. Being italic at places meant it is a bit harder for people to read, and even more difficult with those with dyslexia.
Definitely. I mean, as a graphic designer, I see that the colours suit well with the theme, the black and white, all the layout, it goes perfectly. And the font as well, the typography used as well.
The other opinion we had from a member in our focus group is the buttons on the page and small minor details on the web page that could have been more fitting. The issue there is that the buttons are a set layout with limited editing available on Mediator, which is why we were unfortunately not able to act upon this suggested improvement. The editing and sound was addressed and the response was positive. We gathered that they understand that the sound reinforced the narrative, which was seen in transitions from the dream cuts to the real life shots. As Abby said, it fades between each character. This is the protagonist and antagonist in the film.
It gave me goosebumps every time, so
It's like
chilling, isn't
it
it?
builds it like fading, you know, when they switch from like different characters and that music in between, it works well. Yeah, it builds up.
And it gives the multi-personality thing, you know, the, do you know what I mean?
Split personality.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
It kept jumping.
Yeah.
It did the like little
Fast action
shuddering.
shot.
Quick transitions was brilliant. Quick cuts, nice.
It seemed that favourite parts were the dream definition and the match cuts at the end to show both the protagonist and antagonist. These are both used to build tension, give a sense of the narrative and to tease the audience, which it has done well.
Or when the definition of dream comes editor's art, because it kind of like cuts from the footage and goes on to the dreams. You just think, oh.
I really agree with you.
I like the ending. Yeah.
I like it when he's.
I like the ending as well.
Just the way you've edited it all together.
Yeah.
I just think
You've
the
really
different medias work together. Like,
you put the key scenes in the best places.
They were also very happy with the length of the trailer.
It wasn't too long to like make it boring, but it wasn't too short to make it like, oh, what's going to happen?
yeah.
Only one said maybe a little shorter. And what made it interesting for them was the mise-en-scène, music and editing.
Just all the conventions, you've done really well. The mise-en-scène you use as well. Top class.
That is good terminology there.
Yeah.
It just...
We used some of the typical conventions of the thriller genre here, for example the dark gloomy lighting whilst walking down an alley at night. This was used to build up tension and excite our audience.
Scared.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, goosebumps.
Of course I will, I just said I would.
Date. Book a date.
Yeah, 13th of
3rd
June.
of June.
Chronologically, we began with researching real media texts. This means we used hardware such as Macs and PCs in conjunction with search engines. Google to correlate conventions through analysis of media products, including trailers, posters and web pages.
In order to carry out analysis of already standing products, we needed to search these on the World Wide Web. We chose to use IMDb because this is a reliable website, being an official database. We were able to be certain the trailers shown were official and legitimate. The only issue we had with this was due to our research and planning being a video, we needed to acquire these for evidence findings. We weren't able to get the exact video off IMDb. We turned to YouTube, slightly less reliable as anyone could post onto this site. Some of the trailers we collected had slight variations to the ones analysed in IMDb. This isn't too much of an issue and was useful because conventions of these genres stay the same and our understanding was broadened.
For one of our analysis, we decided to complete a voiceover, so you have had the visual material in front and our analysis simultaneously. To do this, we used the DSLR camera for sound recording because it needed to be in an MP4 format for compatibility. This was very time consuming, which we didn't want to hold us back from planning our product. So you will notice each of our second analyses are different to the first, either written with background music or with a subtitle effect.
Researching into products, we used SlideShare, PowerPoint and Keynote to produce a presentation for the thriller and horror conventions and our targeted audience type. This was easily usable, we had all used it before and the result was clear. Short points that we were able to refer in planning of our trailer.
After we generated our questionnaires on Microsoft Word to easily print out and distribute to a potential target audience, we used Microsoft Excel because this easily enabled use to create graphs for our findings and data to analyse our outcomes in a simple format. Moving on, once we solidified our knowledge, we used Microsoft Word and Pages on Macs to type up our planning files. For example, the character profiles, treatments and scripts. This was useful due to it being a simple program which we could adapt for each layout of the files. For example, after looking at industry standard files, we learnt that traditional layouts and then replicated this so our planning was a high standard and acceptable in industry.
We used the scanner to transfer our files back to a digital format to insert into our research and planning video. The issue we came across was this was quite time consuming and not all the scanners seemed to work. We overcame this by using our own time, so we were organised and kept to our production schedule, continuously moving forward.
In the production of our trailer, we used the DSLR to record takes and sounds. This coincided with the lighting we used along with tripods for achieving a variation of angles, particularly obscure ones for this genre. From using this, it expanded our knowledge of media technologies. We learned how to focus manually in order to get the correct focal length for a sharp image when autofocus wasn't an option, specifically for macro use as a point of view shot through the peephole in the door. This was useful, very easy to function. However, the challenges we faced was the battery down in the middle of a take and more space on our SD card. We were organised and had a second battery ready, charged, and a second SD card ready to use. Therefore, quickly resolved this issue to continue straight away.
The lighting was useful for dark situations, when the camera needed more light entering the lens to expose the image. The hard light reinforced a thriller effect, used on our poster image to generate in-depth in the face with harsh shadow, establishing a sinister effect.
The media technologies we utilised for post-production included the hardware of Mac, which enabled us to use Final Cut Pro, industry standard editing software, to edit our brushes. The software is exclusively only to Apple products. We were therefore able to reach a high standard professional quality, which was useful for our own production. Easy to export into a .mov file, to test on our focus group, and to make the needed improvements to re-export. After using Adobe Premiere Pro for our research video, which was very glitchy due to the version we had, and its incompatibility with Macs meant that we had a struggle constructing this, we changed to Final Cut Pro for post-production of the trailer. The transitions, filters and tools were very easy to use on the sidebar, and sound files were simple to import. We obtained our sound files from Kevin McLeod, whom we came across after learning royalty-free music wasn't copyright. It was just a Creative Commons legislation that needed credit, which is why you'll find the source is mentioned in our end credits. The other source we got as sound effects was Freesound. The majority was Kevin McLeod, due to the longer sound files that we were able to layer up, created depth and feeling from the sound in conjunction to the visual stimulus, which created our narrative climax during the fight sequences.
Our titles were generated on the software After Effects, which was very interesting as we hadn't used this before, increasing our skills and developing our understanding of how to use different industry standard softwares to our advantage. It was extremely complex and quite time consuming, nevertheless was worth the outcome, producing a high quality logo fitting with our genre.
For scaffolding of our learning, we use YouTube, looking at how-to videos that we could follow, helping us in our skills of technology, and actually also developing our group collaborative communication skills, helping each other succeed.
The manipulation of our image when making our poster was completed on the software Adobe Photoshop. We used an image from the internet of cracked paint, which we adapted using various tools such as the burn tool for blending and layers to edit. We gained skills of how to use the software, particularly that the rubber tool can be reduced in flow and opacity to generate a weakened effect.
We easily adapted the image to suit our webpage in landscape format with our tagline across the bottom, rather than central at the top. We used the rule of thirds for our webpage with the buttons on the left for an aesthetically pleasing look.
The other ancillary product was produced on Mediator. The software was chosen as a member of our team was already familiar with this software. Using the tools to generate buttons, transitions and inserting our sound files, we were able to create a thriller-themed webpage. We learnt that our certain files were compatible for this software, which was a slight disadvantage. However, we conquered this by trying other files to export and found either .mov files and .swf was needed for videos and animations. When making the website due to problems with animations, a separate page was created to link this back to the home page, which worked well. The other weakness we had was producing a web page in our film package, was deciding on how to present this. The software needed an online source and presented our work as a movie was difficult, but we made the decision to screen record the webpage in action as our evidence to produce as a video. By putting the video into MP4, made it transferable for PCs to make a QuickTime screen record.
We have used a lot of media technologies throughout the process of constructing our thriller package, which we have learned a lot from.
Real-life applications of our package from learning about the development of lean forward technology. We know people don't have a lot of time to sit and search for something nowadays, neither do they have long enough attention span.
This is why we have decided if our products were to be distributed, not only would they be marketed in cinema screens of similar products, but also on social media networks, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, great ways to promote our film package to our target audience of 15 to 25-year-olds whom revolve and thrive around new media technologies. The social media networks, which we have made certain to include in our webpage, to allow easy access to distribute our trailer and share, as word of mouth seems to be one of the best ways to sell a product.